So the first thing that I do want to say about this match is that Pedri is not injured. He did receive a knock on the field, and that's basically it. It's not like he did receive some sort of like hamstring injury or like a thigh injury or a calf injury. Nothing. Pedri is not injured, so let's relax. Let's be okay. Let's look forward to the next match with Pedri being included in that starting 11. Again, Pedri is 100%. So now that we do have that out the way, I want to talk about Barcelona winning against Real Sociedad 1-0 with a golazo from Dembele. And so yes, Barcelona have done the job. We're going into the next round. And so one of the things that I was looking for before this match even started was, okay, if Barcelona go 1-0 up, how is Barcelona going to react? If Barcelona have the ball, they have possession, and it's still 0-0, how is Barcelona going to react to that situation? Are we going to look comfortable? Are we going to be having slow passes, just being relaxed only because we have all of the possession? I really wanted to know Barcelona's attitude because we have seen this so many times. We have seen this game so many times. Is Barcelona being so relaxed, acting like everything is okay when it's really not? But in this game against Sociedad, Barcelona never let their guard down. They always played 100% with high speed in every play, and especially in the final third. I'm proud of how much Barcelona have generated within the span of 45 minutes, especially in the first half, right? We were amazing in the first half. The passes were fast. We moved quickly into space. We defended with courage. Barcelona constantly tried to find the next big thing on what they could do, with Dembele making great passes, Frankie, Pedri, Gavi, Lewandowski. All of these players were constantly trying to punish Real Sociedad, and that is what's supposed to happen because we knew the type of team we were facing. This was a very tough Sociedad side that defended very well, and they showed that, right? This team showed how disciplined they could be in defense because players like Frankie, Gavi, Pedri were caught offside so many times. But at the end of the day, the one thing that was important was for us to have a great attitude, to be relentless. If we look at the graph here, we can see that Barcelona, again, never let their guard down throughout the span of the 93 minutes that we have played. There has been only green bars on this attacking activity. Again, if you guys do not know what this is basically a graph showing you just how much attacking momentum, attacking activity a team had. Barcelona is in the green. And again, you can see that it has been displayed throughout the whole course of the 90 minutes. And that, my friends, it is amazing. Now, it was very intense. We saw a few dirty fouls that were being held in the first 45 minutes. Real Sociedad really wanted to make their stance and say, okay, you guys are not going to be going through us very easy. And so it came to a point where they did receive a red card. A player named Brias Mendes did receive that specific red card because he did step on Sergio Busquets. And so it was 11 versus 10 for like the next 65 minutes. But throughout this game, we also saw like some hits on Gavi. There was also some hits on Pedri, like a couple of punches, a couple of like elbows. I did think that some of these players from Sociedad should have received a yellow card, but nothing was called every time those players were fouling our midfielders. Gil Manzano just did not want to further punish that team and really wanted to stick to the 11 versus 10. But even after seeing Sociedad really try to penetrate Barcelona, seeing how they saw some misses, they also created so many great chances, it did not affect Barcelona in any way. Barcelona continued to make their stance and say, okay, no matter what happens, we're just going to continue to generate more and more attacking opportunities. And I can't emphasize how important that is because we have to be a very composed team. Like, this is the type of mentality that we need against the Bayerns, the Manchester Cities, the Real Madrids. Like, we cannot get scared every time the team does see an opportunity and they almost scored on us, and like that ball hits Ter Stegen. We cannot be afraid. We have to act even bigger than ever before. So one of the ways that Barcelona tried to break that defense was Gavi and Frankie making those runs between the fullbacks and the center backs, which basically broke the compactness that Sociedad were trying to do with the midfield line and the defense line. So when we saw Frankie and Gavi, it stretched the space between the midfield line and the defense line of Sociedad, and that allowed Pedri to receive and have a lot of space in the middle between the midfield line and the defensive line. So everything was working perfectly, and that's why Pedri received the ball many times and was able to create. Another thing that Barcelona have done was that they were working on isolating Dembele and also Alejandro Balde. So there were many times where we saw Dembele by himself. There were many times when we saw Alejandro Balde by himself, and thanks to Frankie de Jong, who always found Alejandro Balde on the left side, we were able to get into the final third so many times. So I do want to move on towards the next phase of this video, and I do want to talk about two key players that were fundamental to Barcelona's success and the reason why we have progressed to the next round. I'm also going to be giving out some honorable mentions because I can't really name everybody here, but I do want to just focus on two very important players, and you guys know exactly where I'm going to be going with this. If you guys saw the game, you guys will know exactly who we are going to be talking about, and the player that I do want to speak about, it is Dembele, right? Dembele. I remember one 1 year ago around this time, right? And I think that many of you guys do also remember, we were talking about this like every day. There was no progression on Dembele's renewal. Like it almost did seem like Dembele was going to be leaving Barcelona for free, and that Dembele does not want to continue. He wants to have more money. The agent will also not budge. He wants to get the best deal out of this operation. And so it frustrated so many Barcelona fans. It frustrated even the club, because Laporta was like, this agent thinks that he can just take money away from us when we clearly do not have that. If Dembele wants to stay, the agent needs to also listen to the player on what he wants, because there was a great understanding between Xavi Hernandez and Dembele. So all of these things, right, all of these debates, it came to a point where every time Dembele was on the field, everybody in the Camp Nou were whistling at Dembele saying, get out of our club. We don't want you. All you want is money. You don't care about FC Barcelona. Please get out. And again, this was 1 year ago around this time. And now we sit here today seeing the complete opposite, thanks to Dembele himself, obviously, because he is doing the work, and because of Xavi Hernandez, who has been greatly working with this player. We are seeing a different picture. Every time Dembele is on the field, everybody loves to see this player represent the Barcelona jersey. Why? That is because he changes the attack. He is the main protagonist to every play that Barcelona does in the final third. Like, not only is this player improving, but he is also evolving. I swear, I'm not trying to overhype this player. I think that many of you guys can agree with me on this, because we can all think the same, right? But if you really look at Dembele and his style of play and what he does he not remind you of Ronaldinho? And again, I'm not trying to overhype this player, but he's really looking like a Ronaldinho now because of the way that he is evolving. If you were to ask me, does Dembele play like Ronaldinho like 4 to 5 years ago, I would tell you no. But what he is today and what Xavi has instilled in this player has been amazing. We are seeing a very different player, a player that can create, a player that can possess so many smart passes. He's also very entertaining, like I have said, like Ronaldinho. And the amount of confidence he does have every time he has the ball is just spectacular. Xavi did say also, like a couple of months ago, that he wants to make Dembele the best in this position, and we are seeing that. And the only way he could have ended up in this position is by adding more quality into his play, and that is what Dembele is doing, because not only is he just someone that can just take the ball and run with the ball, but he's also somebody that makes so many great passes. Like, his passes are so underrated. In the first 45 minutes, he came out with the most chances created. In the first 45 minutes, he was also able to complete the most dribbles. I'm going to be talking about his overall 90 minutes in just a few seconds, but everything went through him, and he scored a golazo that led towards Barcelona going up 1-0. He burst through that flank, receiving that ball coming from Koundé on the right side. Seeing that French duo was amazing, by the way. And then he takes the ball and he shoots a rocket, like a complete rocket, where not even the goalkeeper could stop that ball or that shot. And the Camp Nou erupted. They're like, oh my god, what did we just see? That was, again, amazing. The defense of Real Sociedad had no answers to what he has just done, and I think that he deserved that goal. Like, everything that he was doing, like, we were like, okay, when is Dembele going to actually score? He needs that goal. He's looking for it. And if you really think about it, right, like, there is just no other player in this Barcelona squad that can do what Dembele does. Ansu Fati cannot do what Dembele does. Ferran Torres cannot do that. Rafinha cannot do that. All of these wingers, and maybe not just in Barcelona, but many wingers in the world of football within the top 5 European leagues, no one can do what Dembele does within his own style. He even made a great through pass that led towards Frankie receiving the ball inside the box, and he misses, and I'm like, oh my god, bro, like, that could have been an amazing assist, but Frankie did miss that opportunity. And then when Dembele did leave on the, I think it was like on the 85th minute, and Ansu Fati was coming in, there was a standing ovation. Just what a way to transition your legacy and to put that into a different position. To start with so many whistles from the Camp Nou, and then 1 year later to just receive a standing ovation by having all of the fans clap at you for having a great performance. I'm proud of this player, and we need to continue to back this player to become even better and to maybe hopefully become a leader in this club. So the final stats within the 84 minutes that he did play was 44 out of 52 passes were completed. He scored 1 goal. He did create the most chances with a total of 3. He did create the most big chances with a total of 2. He had 5 dribbles completed, which was the most, had 4 out of 4 accurate long balls, 6 recoveries, and 0 fouls committed. Number 2 will be Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. Like I've said, this goalkeeper is amazing. We are seeing the 2018 version of Ter Stegen. He saved Barcelona so many times. Sociedad had that big chance in the last 30 seconds of the game where we could have been going into extra time and go on a 1-1 tie, but he did save the long shot. He did make a couple of mistakes, like he misplaced a pass that could have led towards Barcelona conceding, but he is the reason overall on why Barcelona is progressing to the next round, and within just 90 minutes. I do strongly believe that eventually we will see this goalkeeper become the first or second captain, I want this guy to like really captain that defense because he has the capability to do so. And you cannot tell me that this goalkeeper is not the best in the world, because he is the best goalkeeper in the world, and period. And so last but not least, we're going to be talking about the honorable mentions. Player number 1 will be Araujo. He was tested so many times in the defense. There were so many players trying to run behind the defense. Araujo looked like he was having a lot of fun. He even said in the post-match interview that he loves duels like what he was doing with Sorloth. And so he was rock solid. And I do have a very hard time like trying to understand, okay, what is Araujo's best position, on the right back or in the center back position? Because sometimes I say Araujo on the right back position is like, he's very fun to look at. Like you can see that he tries to like body his way into the final third. He makes great decisions. But then I saw what Koundé did when he took down about 1 to 2 players inside the box. I'm like, okay, fine, maybe Koundé is the better right back. But then I talk about like how Koundé is a great center back and how he has great ball distribution. And so I'm like, oh my god, like these two players can do both. They can both play in the center back position and also on the right back position. So it really does not matter. It's a good problem to have. And the other player that I do want to talk about is Frenkie de Jong. He was a protagonist in the first 35 minutes of the attack, moving to make spaces for his players, making through passes. He's the reason why Alejandro Balde touched the ball in the final third, because he constantly looked for that open player and he could have scored. Like I've said, Dembele made an amazing through pass where Frenkie only had to hit that ball accurately, but it could not happen today. But I do think that Frenkie de Jong will find that goal eventually. That energy and the motivation that I see within his performance is just giving me positive vibes. I'm happy to see that Barcelona have made it clear to themselves, with the player and to the media, that he is untouchable. He is a midfielder for the future, and I believe that that is one of the biggest reasons why Frenkie de Jong today is a for sure starter under Xavi Hernandez. So again, Barcelona have won 1-0. What a great way to come out and go into the next round, and we'll see what we do next time. That will be wrapping up today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one.